Capricorn, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So welcome in. Happy day. Well, we're off to a new week, and we're coming up on a full moon, actually, a full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarian energy is all about expansion and the next thing, right? And we've been going through a lot of changes, so it's kind of appropriate that we're looking at this, looking at what the next steps are, what the future kind of holds, how we want to position ourselves so we line appropriately and accordingly with what we want, right? Some of the changes have not been very easy. They've been extremely humbling. And so sometimes it is kind of hard to look to the future while we're still licking our wounds of the past, so to speak, right? Because no one wants to make the same mistake or perceived mistake, let's just say it that way, because not everything is a mistake. Sometimes we just have to go through things, right, to learn our lessons and to understand on a deeper level, so we don't do it that way next time around, right? And Jupiter actually also just went into Cancer, so it's an opportunity for us to listen again to our instincts, our intuition, to actually nurture and support ourselves, choose things that make us feel like home, right? The things that make us feel just that no matter what, we're taken care of. That's what Cancer energy is all about. And that's really when we make those choices. Jupiter is our fortune abundance. So it's going to start bringing that stuff in. It's this value of aligning with self, right? But it's not easy to do. There's been a lot of tension going on. We'll get into that as we get into our reading. I like to start off these readings with an energy cleansing though first, just to kind of set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any blocks, obstacles, limitations we might be coming into. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you have come into this reading with something on your heart, on your mind, something you want Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are just looking for more of a realignment of self, mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're feeling strong, grounded, aligned in ourselves, when we're taking care of ourselves, we better understand our wants and needs, and then we can better manifest like what we actually want, right? That is the law of attraction, and its practicality is self-care. That's the secret right now. But I would love to help support in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box. Yeah, I was going to say prescription box. All right, let's get into it, Capricorn. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so that we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. Amen. All right. Okay, Capricorn, so I feel like there's something that's like making you feel a little soft, a little tender this week. Like, it's almost like you're happy with how something has played out. I think you see the necessity, the value, but it's also bringing up a lot of emotion. I'm seeing like specifically tears, like I was hearing grinning and bearing it, but that's not the right verb. It's not the right language for what the energy I'm trying to communicate. This feels a little bit more like you're seeing something clearer, and maybe you did make a choice, a decision. Maybe it does feel like a mistake. Maybe it feels like wishing you could go back a little bit. Had you would have known, had you have seen, it's kind of like that type of energy. And it does look like you have a choice on the table. It looks like you have an opportunity to address this, is what I'm hearing, to kind of, whether it is just clearing the air with someone around a situation, or it is trying to reconnect, reconvene, 100%, because there's our blockage card right there. So not seeing something clearly, right? Just confirmation on what I was saying. And there's our tears. I love it. Sorry, the cards never lie. It's just, it never ceases to amaze me how beautiful energy is, right? It's so powerful. And, you know, when we acknowledge this, when we accept this, when we bring this into our awareness, it really does help us release some of, you know, blockage comes because we're not believing what we're seeing, or we're not believing what our intuition is telling us. And when we disconnect from self, Ayurveda calls it pragya aparad. It means the disconnection of self. It's translates specifically as the mistake of the intellect. So when we disconnect from ourselves, that's the greatest mistake that we can make. And that's where these tears come into play. Because we end up, I'm hearing like you found yourself in a position that you feel isolated or alone, or again, had you made a different decision, it would have looked very different, or you're living in that energy a little bit more. And here's the thing, I feel like you are being a little bit hard on yourself. It goes back to what I was saying in the very beginning. You're seeing this as a mistake, and I'm not really quite sure that it is. Like whether you're blaming yourself or however that's playing out. It wasn't a mistake. It was how it was supposed to go. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to accept. I have a total hard time with that one, right? Like I like to know the reason why. Why did this happen? Why did they do this? What did I do to contribute? Right? But sometimes we just don't get those answers. And sometimes we just have to acknowledge, like, maybe I wasn't seeing something clearly. Maybe I could have chosen to take my time a little bit more when I made that decision, because Spirit's really encouraging you to find a little bit more grounding and balancing this week, or as you move forward. I feel like definitely feel your feels. Let the grief flow to whatever capacity you need to this week, Capricorn. Like I said, we're coming up on that full moon. And what I love about Sagittarian energy, like I was talking about, it's expansion, growth, pushing beyond the limits. And I'm hearing like, don't take the grief along with you. Let it go, process it, look at it. Do whatever you need to get it out. Maybe you're not a big crier. Maybe it's more out of, you know, those rage rooms, going and breaking things or whatever, right? Like taking a walk, doing some intense exercise, whatever you kind of need to kind of get some of, you know, that feeling and that emotion out. I think it's going to help you release. I think it is actually setting the stage for you to feel a little bit more grounded within yourself. I think you have some choices on the horizon, and I feel like some of these are not very easy, because it's like you do have to make some hard decisions. You do have to make some hard decisions that you know are actually going to serve you in the long run. And that's exactly like why it's so difficult. But at the same time, it's showing right now, Capricorn, that unfortunately your joy is being stolen. And you just can't vibe with that anymore. You can't vibe with that. What's the effing point, right? Like if we're not happy, if we're not enjoying our life and what we're doing and who we're surrounding ourselves with. Yeah, I mean, life is pretty crazy. People are crazy, whatever. There's a lot of stuff in between that. I'm not saying everything is peachy keen, but it looks like you have a connection with someone and they can't see the value of it. And you've had to work harder to make it more okay because they're not able to receive it or see its value, or they're taking advantage of you or the situation. And also it feels like it's bringing up pain, even though it shows that you're able to look at things very diplomatically. At the same time, it's like you're seeing through it, right? Like, because that's exactly how I was like seeing you, Capricorn, is like tears are streaming down your face, but you're just like, yep, this is what it is, right? Like, it's pain for the reality of the situation, but you're still like allowing, like, it's acceptance. There is this level of peace. And what I like is you are able to be a little bit more aware of this week, i.e. why we're getting choices as our overarching energy. Not to be a cheeseball by saying this, but I'm going to say it. Follow your bliss. Follow your joy. I think it's so important right now. Even if it is meaning that you're not ready to make a big decision this week or tomorrow or whatever, give yourself a little bit of time to like relax and have fun. Honestly, it's going to counteract some of the kind of some of the backlash that you're feeling from seeing the reality of a person's situation. It's never easy, but it also looks like you both are fine to go your own separate ways. Or you are saying that regardless, like, I've seen this enough, I've done this enough, where it's more important for me to actually choose what's best for me versus like this other dynamic over here. It's kind of just someone who, I mean, they care, but they don't. They have a very self-serving energy. They're taking a good thing and taking it for granted, 100%. That's that Four of Cups, Four of Wands. And I feel like you've given them enough time. You've talked to them enough times where you know they get it. You know they understand. But again, it feels like this cycle continues to perpetuate itself, where it's like, someone's not acknowledging or lying, or, and you make amends, and then it's like, and then a big explosion happens, and then you go through the whole thing again, right? And here's the thing, they're gonna be fine. That's what it shows. Knight of Swords energy, they're able to like do what they need to do to like take care of themselves. You don't have to feel responsible. And honestly, I feel like once you guys get to that point, it's gonna make it even more clear. Whether they choose something that's like kind of an FU to you, or it feels immature, the way that this person's situation handles things, it's going to be even more of a confirmation. You have a lot of major arcana this week, Capricorn, which is really just talking about how this is big change for you. There is a lot of tension in the astrology. Like I was saying, Jupiter's been tensely aspected, Mercury's been tensely aspected. I forgot to pull up this chart. Hold on a second. We're heading to a full moon. The full moon, even, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's just like all this stuff that like we just wish was working out differently. And we have to make peace with the fact of where the change is happening. We don't necessarily like it because it's forcing us to be better. Like, you know what I mean? It's just forcing you to be a little bit stronger, a little bit more refined, using people and dynamics to help you make the necessary changes so you aren't staying stuck. Yeah, I love this with the Geo too. And you're like uncovering your beauty, you're uncovering your power and strength, and actually like the life that you can have. Not to oversell it, but whatever this person's situation is, because they're being so self-serving, because they can't put themselves in your shoes or try to grow up a little bit, try to be better, etc. It has been stealing your joy. And again, I'm going back to that. What's the point then, right? Is it worth it? It's been really hard to see it. I feel like this is someone who does kind of have a little bit of a shady energy, or like they know what they're doing, right? Because to me, what I'm seeing is it's like even when you have another conversation talking about things again, they don't treat it with the same type of love and care that you do. Yes and no. It's like it's always two sides. It's always very dualistic. It does feel like someone who's hiding, someone who's maybe even like a little bit parasitic, right? Like stealing from your energy, sucking, or using, again, not trying to oversell it, but it just like they don't even care at the end of the day. And I feel like all of this is being highlighted for you, Capricorn, so that you do make choices that honor your heart first. All right, that was a little heavy, but thank you so much for your time, energy always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, I'm sending it back your way.